Hello and welcome to one of our in-state SBHS Alumni College panels. I'm Nina Track, 2017 SBHS grad and current junior at Penn State University. And these SBHS alumni have volunteered their time to give back to the SB community in hopes to help you get clarification and inspiration during your college search and selection process. The questions you will hear have been gathered through various college panel discussions at the high school. But if there's any question that you would like answered that was not addressed during this session, please see the link at the bottom of our SBHS Alumni College Panel discussion page. Let's get started by asking our panelists to each introduce themselves. Max, do you want to get started?
Surely. So my name is Max Falk. I'm an alumni. I graduated in 2016. I'm graduating in like 2 weeks or so from Rutgers, New Brunswick. I'm a healthcare administration major and a psychology minor. At Rutgers, I'm involved in Greek life and the Embrace Kids program. And I'll hand it off to Jess.
Okay, I'm Jess Stephenson. I graduated from SBHS in 2017, and I'm currently a junior at Rutgers, New Brunswick in the Honors College. I am double majoring in cognitive neuroscience and philosophy, and I'm also the vice president of the Neurosci Honor Society in Neuroscience. Emily, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm Emily. I graduated from South Brunswick High School in 2015. I went to William Patterson University and graduated from there in 2018. I was a popular music major, the vice president and president of Music and Entertainment Organization, and I was part of the Songwriters Guild on campus. Matt.
Awesome, thank you. My name is Matthew Ryan. I graduated South Brunswick in 2018. I go to Rutgers University Camden. I'm a nursing major and I will graduate in 2022, hopefully. On campus, I'm a resident assistant and I'm also a member of the Air Force ROTC. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Nina.
Thanks, guys. So kind of putting yourself back into the position of our students who are watching and thinking about when you were making your college decision, what was the main thing you were looking for in a college and what helped you to make that decision? Jess, you want to start?
Sure. Well, I always tell people that going to Rutgers was kind of like my destiny, and I don't mean to be dramatic when I say that. It's because my dad worked at Rutgers, so I was able to get tuition remission through that. I know a lot of kids have this mindset from SBHS that they don't really want to go to Rutgers because it's so close to home and so many people from our high school go there. But for me, those were kind of the best aspects of it, that I could still be able to see my friends, see my family, and I would be in a place that I was already comfortable in.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'm on the opposite end because I didn't go to Rutgers. I think besides Nina, I'm the only one here that didn't go to Rutgers. I went to a school that was an hour away from South Brunswick or so. I had my cousin went to William Patterson, so when I was still in high school, I was going up there to help her move in and out. And I found out going on a tour there for a different major about my program. So doing a little research and seeing all that helped me make my decision going there. And it's a nice small campus. It just as diverse as South Brunswick, which is what I really like too.
Max, did you want to answer that one too?
Yeah, I was going to just add off what Jess was saying, where I was in the boat of actually Rutgers wasn't my first or second or third choice. But I knew I wanted to go to a big state school, and it was really the only one that I could afford. But, you know, despite not wanting to go there initially, I will say that once I got there, I loved it. And the idea that it was too close to home was crazy because there's been times where I'm like, oh, wait, I need to grab this from home. And I'm back at Rutgers within the hour, which is pretty nice.
And then one thing I'll add to that too is I go to the Camden campus for Rutgers University. So I was one of the big things I liked about that aspect was it was a smaller school, but it still had that name brand Rutgers. So that was a big thing that drew me towards that. I knew I wanted to go to a smaller school because I felt that would fit my academic style. And then the other really big thing was that it fit that nursing major. So Rutgers-Camden has a heavy emphasis on nursing, and they have a lot of money they put towards that and towards research and towards all these different opportunities. So that was one of the big things I saw as to why I chose Rutgers-Camden.
There's definitely so many different aspects to take into account when you're making that college decision, and it sounds like you guys have definitely explained a bunch of those different things to consider. And I think in regards to college tours and visiting, even though we're in this situation right now, there are still virtual tours and ways to get in contact with students that can help people do that research that you guys found really important. So I think that's super important to note. But thinking a little bit about kind of once you got onto campus and made that decision, what resources or opportunities have helped you to find your place on campus?
I can start on this one again. So my freshman year, I took a class that was called Intro to Research in Neuroscience, and it was through that class that I got my position in the lab that I've worked in for the last 3 years. And one of the great things about Rutgers is, since it's a public school and it's also part of the Big Ten, there is a very big emphasis on research at the university. You can pretty much find a opportunity just by sending a professor an email, or if you take a class, things like that. And it's really helped me develop skills that I know I'll need in the future, but might not get hands-on from taking a class or even a lab type of course. So it's been really helpful in that way.
When I was admitted into Rutgers, I was also admitted into the Honors College. And what I liked about that is that provided a smaller group for me to join initially. So the Honors College got to go a little earlier than regular students and participate in these activities that would allow them to engage in engage with different people from different backgrounds. And I think that was one of the cool things I found. So I really encourage anyone to try and join a type of group really early on, because that can make a really large campus a little bit smaller and help introduce you to a lot of different people really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, even piggybacking off of what Matt said about joining groups, I didn't really take advantage of that in high school. And when I got to college, I tried to make it a point to join a bunch of clubs. And the two I ended up really getting involved with really helped me grow, especially in my field that I was studying in, and it just helped me make my friends that will be lifelong friends. And it's given me a lot of really cool opportunities within my field, but also just getting a part-time job talking about how I was part of a club that put on events helped me get a job at a bowling alley. So it's it all kind of will help you connect to things outside of college as well, which is cool. Helps you find your place there and outside of it.
Definitely. So then thinking some more about more of the specific things that you've had the chance to do, what is the most exciting opportunity that you've taken advantage of in your time, either so far or when you're at school?
I can start this one off. So it's actually this semester for my program of study, I needed to do an internship for credit. So I've been working down in Princeton at a company called Mathematica through Rutgers, and I actually, at the beginning of March, before everything got shut down, I had the opportunity to make a business trip down to Capitol Hill, and I was able to present my project to some congressmen, some senators, some aides, and it was just a really awesome, unique experience that I was able to have that I really did not expect to have at this age.
I think the biggest opportunity I got through college so far is Air Force ROTC. So through joining that, I already have a guaranteed job going out of college, and it's kind of crazy to think about that only as a sophomore in college right now. So in 2022, I already have a job lined up, which is awesome. But also through that, I learned a lot of leadership skills and a lot of public speaking skills so far, and I get to participate in this really big group of people. We get to do PT, and we get to do all these different evaluation courses and take different academic classes together. And it's really a good way to develop my leadership and also to keep myself mentally and physically fit. So that's been one of the biggest opportunities I've had so far, and I've had a lot of fun doing so far.
I got to do like some cool things within my major. I was able to travel to Nashville for a music conference for 2 years in a row. And I mean, within the major, we had a class that was basically like running a business. And through that, we put on an 80s benefit concert for like a school scholarship. And I got to meet and perform with Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC and like some other cool artists from back in like the 80s. So those were probably like the biggest highlights of my time at school. It was kind of cool to like be able to put on my LinkedIn that like I worked a concert with these people. Like it was just a really cool experience.
That's so awesome. And I think it's really cool to hear too that the different opportunities you've been able to take advantage of either relate really well to your major or are just like a personal passion for you. So it's a nice mix of things. But thinking more too about what it is that you study, when people are making the college decision, they're also kind of thinking about what they're looking to dive deeper into academically after high school. So how did each of you go through and make that decision of what it was that you wanted to study? Jess, you want to start this one?
Sure. So I went into college thinking I was set. I was going to do pre-med. I was going to do medical school after, and I was on that path until last semester, actually. I decided I had to think really critically about what I actually wanted to do and look back at the classes I had taken, and I realized that just wasn't the fit for me, and then I had other interests. So that was when I made the switch to also including my major to be philosophy. And I think that a lot of us think that we're supposed to go into college like completely set, but that isn't always the right thing, and it makes it harder to be open to changing your mind. So I think it's really a good idea to explore the classes, take advantage of the general core curriculums, to maybe take a class that you wouldn't think you would like, or it's in a field that you didn't want to explore, something like that, and see what really fits you at that time.
Yeah, Jess really hit that one. I went into college thinking I was going to be a math major doing a 5-year education program at Rutgers. And then I did Calc 3. Calc was already hard. Calc in 3 dimensions, 10 times harder. So, I really had to sit down and evaluate and think about what interests me. So I went through the Rutgers major listings. I found healthcare administration. I read up on it. It seemed like an up-and-coming field. And then I really need to specify. So I've been able to get a policy focus with that. And, I didn't take a single class until my spring semester sophomore year in my major or minor. And now I honestly couldn't be happier with what I'm doing. So you definitely don't need to have it figured out right now.
And for me, as I said before, I'm a nursing major. So going back to like freshman, sophomore year of high school, I kind of knew I wanted to do something with like science and math because those were some subjects I excelled in. But I wasn't really sure what. And so I ended up joining the first aid squad because that's what my grandfather had done for so long and what my dad and my uncles have done for forever. So I decided to join it. And then through that, they had this opportunity to further my education and become an EMT. And I went ahead and did that. And just working on the ambulance, I had a lot of fun doing it. And I got to learn a lot and impact people's lives. So through that, I learned that I wanted to become a nurse and just further that education. So definitely just doing some research, getting some hands-on experience. If you're not sure what you really want to do, if you could pick up a job in high school or volunteer somewhere and do something and figure out if you like that or not, that would definitely, I think, help you kind of figure out what you want, because it definitely helped me.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I wanted to do music since I was like 8. So picking the field was easy, but like the specific major, I mean, I went into my first semester undeclared. I knew I wanted to do music. I just didn't know. I didn't know how many like different majors you could have within that, especially like popular music is not like a common major. That's a very uncommon thing to have, which is also why I picked the school I picked. But I didn't really know what that meant. So I figured go in, do my gen eds, get all that done. That's what you do in your first year anyway. Get all that done in a semester and go to as many like music events as I could and figure it out from there.
That's such great insight for students trying to figure out what it is they want to do, since it can definitely be a daunting process. And thinking more on the passion side of things, and I know some of you touched on it a bit already, but if there's anything anyone wants to add about some of the extracurriculars you've been involved with and how they've impacted your college experience.
Surely. So my first semester, I didn't have too many people I knew at Rutgers, and it's a big school, so not knowing too many people makes it hard to adjust there. And going into it, I was very anti-Greek life, but then I started to explore it. And honestly, it really opened a lot of opportunities for me. I met a lot of different people, and not only within my fraternity, but and other people throughout Greek life, and it was really good to be involved with that. I also took on the position for my fraternity for 3 years now as the Embrace Kids liaison. So I lead a group, usually bring like 2 or 3 guys with me, and we go to the hospital, Robert Wood Johnson, and we'll visit a kid who's getting treatment for cancer, and we play video games, board games with them, and I don't know, it's not something I ever expected to do, but I love doing it, and really upset that we can't do it right now, but that's just the state of things.
At Rutgers, I mentioned before that I'm the vice president of the Neuroscience Honor Society, and that's a newer club, so we're just getting started with that. But throughout my freshman and sophomore year, I was really active in student-led community organizations. So there are a lot of outreach organizations that work within the larger New Brunswick community to see how we as students, what we can help, what we can contribute to them. And I feel like at college, it's really easy to just get super like self-focused and worry all about like your stressors and all of your schoolwork, but to kind of step out of that and take a moment to help others is really grounding.
Jess, I think you make a really important point too about like the difference between your college experience and high school and kind of that switch in mindset. So how was your transition into college? Could you guys share a little bit about that transition from high school to college? Emily, you want to start off?
Yeah, mine was, I mean, I was a totally different person when I got to college. Like, I personally feel like I did a 180, like now looking back at it, because I've been out of school for 2 years now. So like looking back on it, it's like, it's kind of weird, like thinking about my high school self and my college self. I feel like they're like 2 completely different people. I mean, college helps you grow in a way that you don't like expect. And like, you know, it's going to happen because everybody's telling you like, you're going to be a different person when you like go to college. When you come out of college, you're not going to be the same person you were when you got there, but you don't like think it's going to happen. You're like, I'm not going to change. What about me is going to change? But it's like the things that do change, it's like the qualities you already have just get like enhanced, and like you just like grow in such a way. You become an adult in such a short amount of time, and you really feel it like when you get out of school and you're like in the real world and you're like, oh, this is what they meant. Like now I understand what they were saying when they said I'm going to change when I go to college. But yeah, I mean, you grow in like all positive ways. It's kind of cool to like look back on it now.
I would say that the adjustment was kind of rough, solely because going from high school, honestly, I never really studied that much, and I did pretty well for myself. Maybe that's just my luck, but I didn't have that effort or work ethic to sit down and study. I could open the book the night before, read a few pages, I was good to go. And college is not like that. Like, you actually need to prepare. You need to have that self-discipline. You need to make sure that you're retaining the content that you're being taught, because if you open that book and read from it for 1 hour the night before your exam, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, and speaking more on the social aspect of changing from high school to college life, I think there's like a lot of societal pressure behind college life. Everyone talks about it being like the best 4 years of your life. So I think going in as a freshman, I had that over my head, just worried like, okay, I hope this is the best 4 years of my life, because if it's not, like, I don't know, it's just going to go all downhill from here. So I think just like taking a deep breath and like taking it all in, because it's going to come naturally to you. It doesn't have to be the best 4 years of your life. So just, I think, adjusting from living with my parents and having my teachers on my back, like holding my hand through high school, there's definitely that change there in college, but also there's that social aspect that changes. So you get more freedoms, but with that, you get more responsibilities. So just being accepting of the fact that, yes, you have all these freedoms, but you have to understand that it doesn't have to be the best 4 years. It doesn't have to be the best year of your life. Like, take it easy. Don't go too crazy, because there's a huge academic portion there that's also going to help boost your life. So if you take it the right way, you'll have many more years that are going to be super awesome. So don't worry about college being the best.
This is a really valuable piece of advice and brings us into a perfect segue into our last question for each of our panelists. So what advice would you give to students getting ready to enter the world of college, or what do you wish you had gotten before you entered college? And I think this will be a really helpful one for people. So I'm going to throw it to Max. You want to start it off?
Yeah, I think we covered before on you don't have to have it figured out. And I think some people pressure themselves into that, and some people have people at home that pressure them into that. But the most important thing to remember is that you're 18 or almost 18. You don't have to have all the answers. At 22, I don't have all the answers still. So really just making sure that, you know, you think about what's going to be best for you, and don't have this, I need to do this, I need to do that, because you're going to stress yourself out. And also kind of building off what Matt said, you know, don't pressure yourself to make it the best 4 years of your life. Really just find that balance. You know, if you're trying to socialize every night of the week and you ignore your studies, you know, you're not going to have a great time. But at the same time, if you go around every week, every night you're in the library, even on a Friday or Saturday night, you're not going to have a good time either. So it's really making sure you find that balance that works for you, where you're successful both academically and socially.
And I'll go ahead again on this one. Just be comfortable asking for help or reaching out, both academically and socially. Personally, for my freshman year, I lived in my individual room, so I didn't have any roommate. So that was like, a lot of people would think that's awesome. You don't have to live with anybody else, but at the same time, it's like kind of lonely. So you definitely reach out to people, talk to friends, talk to family, FaceTime or Skype or whatever, and Zoom now. And then as far as academics go, I didn't realize how many different tutoring services there were on campus, and all the gen eds I had initially were pretty difficult. So reaching out for help and asking for help prior to your exams have been coming up. So don't try and get a tutor the night before your exam. Get a tutor the first day you get on campus, because all they're going to do is give you study advice and all these different tools to help you. There's no harm in asking for help at all.
Also, bouncing off of the more academic side, I think that high school does have a very competitive aspect to it sometimes, because we're always seeing the same people and we're comparing grades and things like that. But I think in college, for me, one of the biggest things I had to do was start to be more accepting of what I was capable of. So being able to sit down and think about, okay, have I put too much on my plate? Do I need to maybe like drop a class? Do I need to maybe not go to this club meeting tonight? Being able to know that you've bitten off a piece that you can actually like swallow, and don't be too hard on yourself, because college can be difficult sometimes, and you just have to accept what you are capable of doing and be okay with that.
Definitely make it a point, I guess this is more like academic too, to find a mentor, whether it's like a professor or just someone that's older than you that's in your field. I personally feel like I have like multiple people that I look up to within my field. One is one of my like best friends. She's like killing it right now, doing just like great things. And I know like if I ever needed something job wise from her, I can go to her and be like, hey, like how can you help me and how can I better myself? And just having like, even like if I have a professor that's a former professor that was and is one of my mentors still to this day. I mean, for how long I've been out of school, we still talk almost every day just about music stuff. So it's nice to have a mentor, and even just having that person on campus to go to, kind of like a tutor in a way, because like, like academically you can go to that person, but also just like socially having those people, because I personally felt like I needed someone that was like a big sister to me to look up to, just to like have on campus.
I also just want to add to that, make friends with your professors. Most of them will be really chill. They like to talk to their students, and they can be a really good resource for you both while you're in school and after you graduate.
Well, thank you guys so much for everything today. I think this is so incredible and so helpful. I really want to say thanks for taking your time. Thank you to all of the students who are watching at home. And again, remember, if there is a question that wasn't answered that you'd like to be addressed, please see the link at the bottom of our SBHS Alumni College Panel discussion page, where you can also find links to different panels regarding different topics and different types of universities and majors. We wish you all the best in your college search, and stay safe, Vikings. Thank you, guys.